Keys, not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not in a good mood today. Not in a good mood today. And Keys is having some technical difficulties. Are you good there, Keys? Or
I think so. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you
All right.
great. Um, I have no idea where One Pride is. He's acting like a Chiefs receiver right now. Man, talk me off a ledge here, man. I'm all excited. Great first half, and just help me out here, man. I mean, you have any words of encouragement here? I'm trying to be positive. I want to talk 32 teams. Some big news today, and all I can think about is drop passes.
Right. Dan, I don't know that I'm going to talk you off the ledge this time.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. I'm just in a bad mood. I don't know if you had a chance to hear this. Matt Canada was fired this morning. Steelers. I thought it was a little unusual of the timing. To be honest, I think it should have came earlier. But Matt Canada is gone. Shaquille Leonard, formerly known as Darius Leonard, has been released. Cap casualty, reduced playing time. I mean, a player a couple of years ago was maybe the best linebacker in football. He's now on the waiver wire. Little surprising. Aaron Jones, if he's going to play on Thanksgiving, we have no idea. So I'm gonna start with you. Matt Canada being gone, I think both of us have been kind of critical of him. So I mean, I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a world where Ken Dorsey's already been fired, there's really not a whole lot of justification for keeping Matt Canada. And hey, listen, for whatever it's worth, for the downgrade from Brian Dable to Ken Dorsey, going from Matt Canada to Ken Dorsey could be quite an upgrade.
It makes sense. I mean, it makes a lot of sense. I'm a little surprised at the timing. I'll be honest, I'm surprised both coordinators. The Dorsey one, I really didn't see. I understand the logic. The Canada one, I thought would make sense a couple weeks ago, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Since One Pride's not here, I have no idea where he is, but I'm going to bring on our lists. And me and you did two different lists, but the top four are the same, and the number one overall pick is the same. The next three categories, but we'll kind of go over that. Now, I did it literal with the number one pick in the draft. Because Carolina gave the first pick in the draft to Chicago, so they obviously can't have the number one pick in the draft. But I have them ranked according to my power rankings. They are the 32nd best team in the NFL. We can't speak for One Pride, but I'm guessing the way he has it listed, we we all have Carolina as the worst team in the NFL. I mean, just a bad team overall. Let me just ask you this here. I mean, there's talk about Frank Wright being on the hot seat. Evero's a coach me and you both liked as the defensive coordinator. I think I don't want to put words in your mouth, but wasn't CJ Stroud your quarterback number one as well, or were you really high on Bryce Young?
Yeah, I think we talked about this maybe back in the preseason when Luke G was on. I thought there was a show we did where we all talked about which of the rookie quarterbacks we liked best. I'd have to go back and rewatch that, but I believe all three of us were kind of the same there, right? And kind of saw kind of a down year from the Panthers. Because of maybe not having Bryce Young as high. I think the crazy thing, though, is I was high on that coaching staff.
You're high on the what?
The coaching staff.
Yeah, I was too. I fully expected Carolina's offense kind of be maybe mediocre and struggle. I really thought the defense would be good. I really thought the defense would be good. And that's really throwing me off. And by the way, I should have started off here. You're going live in a couple hours from now with a special after hour show with some ladies. Is that correct?
Yeah, we will. We're kind of doing a special on back, and we're gonna kind of get into the whole Taylor Swift thing, and kind of the hate Brittany Mahomes gets, and kind of go into that area, and we'll see where the ladies take us from there, because they kind of get to ask us whatever they want after they talk about those things. So.
Well, yeah, I would. I meant to lead off with that. I was a little behind getting everything put together. It looks like One Pride has joined us. Now, One Pride, man, Keith said that you were busy watching porn. Is that true?
Totally. Nah.
So what happened is that we did 3 different picks, but the number 1 pick is the same, and the top 4 categories are the same. The others are a little different here. I don't want to speak for you, but I want to make sure. Do I have this correct that you're going worst to best? Carolina's the worst team in the NFL, and Chicago's better than the Patriots. Is that correct, or did you just put them down as teams that could have the number 1 pick in the draft?
Worst to best.
Okay, so we all agree Carolina's just a disaster. Keys is the 31st team is the Patriots. I think that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. And okay, let's go to category number 2. I just want to go to category number 2. I kind of just really want to get to the top 4 because we have it a little different here. Here, I'll just show you this real fast here. We have young but
hold on. Now you have young but intriguing for Panthers.
Okay, so I know you're not big on the draft like I am, but the Panthers cannot have the number 1 pick in the draft. They traded that to Chicago, so they don't have a first-round pick. So what I did is I did this literal. The Panthers cannot have the first pick in the draft. They don't have a first round.
No, you're right. You're right, but
of course I'm right. What are you arguing with me for, One Pride? By the way, I'm just going to let you know, me and Keith were really pissed off today. We're in bad moods, It's tough, man. It's tough.
Wait, really?
I get it. I mean, but
I thought
you guys are used to it, and you're having a great season here. Here we are, we're dropping passes. It's really bad. Yeah,
you need to draft a wide receiver.
Yeah, we did. We so I've been saying, I said this on the live stream many times. We're going to, for the next couple of years, in rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5, draft a wide receiver every single year until we get somebody like Amon-Ra. So Keys has missing playoff teams. The reason why he's got 7, and he's got a thing called toss-up teams, which is a little different. And then, but we all have the same top 4 categories. So I'm just going to skim through the first couple ones really fast because we have something different, and these aren't teams that really mean a lot. And then, you know what? I'm actually going to just go here because this is the one that we all have the same. And I kind of want to talk about this here. I want to talk about potential wild cards here. Me and Keys agree on 3 teams. He has the Raiders and the Texans on the outside looking in. What's interesting is, One Pride, you have 4 teams completely different. So I was going to touch base on this here. Well, actually 3 teams completely different. So I want to touch base on the Steelers, Saints, and Vikings. Talk about your potential wildcard teams here.
Well, these are all potential teams. Well, these are all teams that are possibly can get into the wild card, and also too. Saints are ahead. The Vikings are 6-5, correct?
Yeah, the Vikings would they would occupy the 7th seed. And I think this would just be great for the NFL. The way it would work is that if the playoffs were to start today, it would be Lions and Vikings
All right.
in the first round of playoffs. And I just think that would be awesome.
Yeah, well, I just think the Vikings have a good shot of getting that last spot, but I think Saints could also get it too because I think they're just going to outright win that division. I don't think that division's any good. And then Steelers, they're going to win a lot of games like they usually do, but probably as a wild card.
Okay, so you have the Steelers as the final wild card team.
Yes.
Okay. We got Gooch in here. 2 domes, a lot of glare coming off of them. Yeah, I know. You got the good hair.
Yeah, Gooch, let's see you with your hat off, bro.
and it's always good to have the talent in the house here. And then I'm going to touch base with Keys here. You have potential wild cards. How high are you now? I'm looking here. I love how you numbered these, by the way. I think that's genius.
I was trying to make it easier after last week. Just get it out there.
I thought this was awesome, man. I really.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was awesome.
Well,
enough to not show it.
Yeah, I took a screenshot of everything when I did it, and then because I was using an iPad, and then when I do it, I can do editing and markup right there. So I just did it that way.
No, I wish I would have done it. Well, I should have put the numbers in there. I'm a little computer illiterate, so the way I did it was there's got to be an easier. The whole time I was doing this, I was thinking there's got to be an easier, faster way to do this. So, I kind of just wanted to have our picks together here. But you have Houston and you have the Raiders as potential wild cards. I think that's a little interesting. Can you elaborate? Like is Houston a legitimate wild card team?
100%.
Oh yeah.
All right. There's no debate here. Nothing out there. They got the rookie quarterback. I mean, he had 3 interceptions. I mean, isn't that worry you guys?
Yeah, but D'Amico Ryan's found a way to win, and that's why they look so impressive.
Yeah, for sure. D'Amico Ryans is a good coach. I know. I think I saw some kind of comparison to his his turnover worthy throws being like right there with Josh Allen or another kind of top quarterback. Just kind of pointing out that he's kind of been lucky, but they're winning. So, if you look at the teams in the AFC outside of the North, which obviously, as you get to my tiers, I have, I think, 3 teams in the AFC North in the playoffs. It's really going to come down to, how many AFC West and AFC East teams get in there. But I certainly think that you have to at least put the Texans in there on the bubble as one of those last playoff teams that could sneak in.
Yeah, Keys, I do agree with you with like the 3 wildcard teams. But I thought like before the Burrow injury, I thought the Bengals would get in, but now since
for sure
the Steelers fired Matt Canada, they have a good shot in making it.
The Matt Canada firing, you're seeing it as a move to push the Steelers over the top.
Well, not over the top. I'm just saying like it'll help them out. I'm not a big believer in Kenny Pickett.
Okay. Let me ask you this here. Is firing Matt Canada, I'm just going to put you on the spot one, Pride, because you have potential here. Are the Steelers making the playoffs?
With the Bengals losing Joe Burrow? Yeah.
Not making. Right. So the potential's not there anymore. They are in thanks to Matt Canada being gone. Let's go up to the next. I'm sorry here. I kind of want to do them while we're all together here. I like how Keys had it here. I think we're all pretty much got the same thing, just a little different here. But I kind of want to touch base on the top teams. One Pride playoff teams. He got the Bills. He got the Seahawks. He has the Texans. So the Texans you have in. The Browns, even with DTR, you have them in. Is that correct?
defense? That defense is incredible. And Miles Garrett is a freak of nature.
Hey, Mark, Bengals. I don't think any of us have the Bengals in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not after the injury. No, it was like it was kind of one of those things where Burrow could potentially carry you with a team that doesn't really, like it was, I think last week, right? It was one of my kind of wild card teams ish, playoff / wild card teams maybe ish. But with that injury, I don't think you can put him on there. I don't even think you can put him on there at this point as a possible wild card team, just the way the rest of the AFC North is and how the AFC East is. You have the Texans coming on, and all of a sudden, look in the rearview mirror, here come the Broncos and the Raiders. So
Yep. So I got a question for both of you guys. So since Burrow's been getting hurt and he's been getting sacked constantly, do you think they regret passing on Penei Sewell? Do you think they regret passing on Penei Sewell?
Keys, you to take this one first.
Yeah, I think that with the way they've went with their roster, I think they would probably do it over again. Having Chase and Higgins and the weapons they have allows them to, with a healthy Burrow, he can get the ball out quick.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like they kind of got stuck where the Chiefs were for whatever reason, like a year or two ago, where, the short stuff is getting going, but they're getting bored and wanting to go back to the long stuff. And you can't do that with the least athletic offensive line in the NFL.
Yep.
So I think it's part play calling and scheme and not working around the offensive line you have. So,
but the offensive line they have right now, I don't think it's the best. I think it needs to be improved. That's for sure.
I get what you're saying, and by the way,
I do like Jamar. Don't get it twisted. I do like Jamar Chase. Like in short term, it's worked out wonders, but I'm not sure it's working out long term.
Offensive line seems to be a weakness of that front office as far as like free agency and draft. So, it's kind of interesting there.
Well, I'm gonna level with you, One Pride, and I'm a huge Penei Sewell fan. No, I think the Bengals made the right move in going with Chase. The Chase Burrow combo I think it's going to go down in history, barring injury from Burrow, and he's missed. Was this the third year he's missed multiple games with injuries? But if he stays healthy and Jamar Chase stays healthy, I think that's going to be one of the all-time great combos. They had Tyler Boyd. They had T. Higgins, but and Jamar Chase. So the answer is no. Okay. Even though I absolutely love Penei Sewell. And I agree with you, One Pride, that Penei Sewell would look a lot better in a Chiefs uniform than he would in a Lions uniform. We all agree with
you. Just want our players. Don't deny it.
We all agree. By the way, Mark, real question here. By the way, I'm not sure I buy this, that Pickett is not the future quarterback for the Steelers. You got a new offensive coordinator, but here's the deal. The Steelers currently hold the 7th spot. Who gets in and who gets in and who kicks the Steelers out? Because right now the Steelers have the 7th seed. Which team gets in and what team gets in? Instead of the Steelers. And I really think that with the new offensive coordinator, I think you have to wipe the slate clean with Pickett. I think it's too soon to tell. He still sucks.
Yeah, I agree with Mark. He's terrible.
I think you gotta give him a chance. And by the way, Denver Gator, this is why you subscribe to the channel. As you know from watching my picks video, which I released earlier today, you're 783% less likely to get hit by an asteroid if you subscribe to Dan Talks Football. That is a scientific fact that is proven. And it's on my video. Please check it out. The descriptions below. Also, I want to plug Keith After Hours Show with Ladies. I didn't put a link on there, Keith. I apologize. I was just kind of running a little behind today, but I do want to promote your show because I think it's a great idea. Oh,
by the way, like and subscribe.
What?
Like and subscribe.
Yes, please. Thank you. All right, so let's see here. Wait a minute, is this right? Here goes playoff teams. Okay, Super Bowl contenders. We have a few things that are a little different here. We have a few things that are different. With my playoff teams, here's what I did: is I have 14. All right, Keys, if I'm correct, has 13. One Pride has 12. If I'm doing my math right, and I may not be right here. So I have all these teams making the playoffs. All right, the Saints win.
Wow.
The Saints will win the division. Miami will win the division.
Detroit will win theirs.
Yeah, I got Detroit winning the division. The only team I have as a Super Bowl contender it's not winning the division is Dallas. I have the Steelers making the playoffs. I have the Browns making the playoffs. I have the Texans making the playoffs. I think all football fans, even if you're not a NFC North fan, would love to see Vikings Lions in the opening round of the playoffs. I have the Seahawks making the playoffs, even though they're playing San Francisco Thursday, and there's a good chance One Pride's boy Kenneth Walker will not be playing.
Andrews is catching up on him, I guess, and I don't get it. And plus, Geno's looked human. He's looked really human.
Well, Geno's banged up. There was talk that he may not play either.
Is that bad, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's a Thursday night game. I think Walker's not going to play. I'm speculating here. I don't have any actual facts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Walker. I think is going to be out, and I think Geno Smith will play.
Has he looked? He hasn't. It doesn't feel like he's looked the same as last year, though. Last year, Geno Smith?
I don't know. Oh, Walker is out. Okay. Yeah, I was pretty sure Walker was out. Thanks for the heads up, Mark. I believe Geno Smith will play. Kenneth Walker's out. And that's a tough game that they got against San Francisco. But I have 14 teams total. So those are my playoff teams. Trying to see if we have any. I don't think there's anything overly different. I think the one thing. So I was kind of surprised at you also have the Texans, and then Keys, if I'm correct, because you got 13. Was your final team? I don't want to put words in your mouth. Was your final team the Texans, or is the Texans out and the Bills are in?
Yeah, I didn't really do that. The last team is kind of at large there, which is why I have them as the potential wild card.
I really
the wild card's coming from one of those teams. I just don't know which one of the five it is.
And I love this too. It's the AFC, and this is just awesome.
The whole AFC, yeah.
I mean, it really is the whole AFC except for Cincinnati, New England, and I think Tennessee is out. Well, I'll be honest with you. I would probably rule the Jets out.
I think I had the Jets out, the Chargers out. We
both have the Chargers out. I have the Raiders out, unfortunately. I have the Chargers out, and I have the Raiders out. Even though the Raiders are, it's a great story.
I like the story too, but I don't think they get in.
No, I don't see it either. And I do like. It's actually funny because I have the Colts as my final potential wild card, the same as Keys. But I think that's a team that.
Do you have Denver making it though?
No, I do not.
Wow.
No,
I got them making it.
Yeah, I know. You got potential. I mean, all of them have potential.
Right.
You got them making it. Keys. All these five teams. The one team that everybody's sleeping on is the Colts, but you get a healthy Jonathan Taylor. 25 minutes into the show, and I had a name freeze.
But you don't have a quarterback, though. That's the problem, I think.
Well,
just for my opinion.
I like their quarterback better than Anthony Richardson for this year and this year only. And I can't think Gardner Minshew. Yeah, I like Gardner Minshew better than Anthony Richardson this year because Richardson's a raw rookie. I didn't think he should be thrust into a starting role. I think he should be then used like on sub packages and like 2-point conversions and creative bullshit like that. I think that the offense should have been, set up for 1 year around Gardner Minshew. Zach Moss took off. So you have a nice 1-2 combo, even though they're really not using Zach Moss. They're one of the few teams in the NFL just uses one running back. But, I mean, a healthy Jonathan Taylor, I mean, he's as good as anybody. You have a decent defense, but I don't have them getting in. But they're a team that I think nobody's talking about. And, like, that's a scary team, man.
Yeah. Wait. Who's the scary team? Sorry.
I think
no way. The Colts are no way. I'm not seeing it, man.
All right. I mean,
And
I
plus
just gave you like 10 reasons, but
I mean, I disagree with that fully, but that's just me. Losing and they just cut Darius Leonard.
Yeah, and we brought that up when you were watching porn. He's very expensive. It's a cap casualty. I mean, this is a guy 2-3 years ago was the best linebacker in football. Now he's for anybody, and it's going to be interesting. I'm wondering.
I still think he's a solid backer. I mean,
I do too. I do too. I mean, here's a guy with an injury history. He said, I remember he a couple of years ago, he said he likes playing at 215, which for a linebacker is not a good thing. At least that's what we think, but it didn't affect him.
His specialties coverage too. It's not. I don't think it's really block shedding. I think it's his specialties coverage.
Yeah, and I don't know enough. I'll be honest with you, Colts are not one team I've watched a lot, but that's going to be a story that, I mean, I really think that there's going to be a team that's looking to get into the playoffs that's going to eat that contract. Mm-hmm. I mean, I the first team I would say would be Buffalo because I forget the linebacker that went
Milano.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that would fit, but I don't think they can do it cap wise. I'm looking at all working out. So, Mark, I want to answer some of your questions here. No chance he's got the weapons. He doesn't throw the ball. I blame that more on Canada. You got a young quarterback. I think you have to have a more friendly offense. I think just to write him off this far in his career, I think you got to give him a little more time. Denver Gator says the AFC crucial game for the playoff hopes will be Browns versus Broncos, perhaps a 12-10 game. I actually had the score as 15-10, and yeah. Browns play Broncos this weekend, and it's a playoff game.
But Mark, I would like to say this too. I get that he's optimistic, but is this still the same G now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think Seattle gets in. Well, who gets in besides Seattle? I mean, the way the NFC playoffs are, all the teams that have winning records are in. All the teams with losing records are out. So who gets in? Is it Green Bay? I mean, one pride.
No way Green Bay gets in.
Beating the Lions Thanksgiving. I couldn't believe One Pride said that, but yeah, he has the Packers winning on Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah, they're blowing us out, man. We're absolutely terrible.
I do want to talk about the Thanksgiving games, but hey, Mark, let me ask you this. So we got Green Bay, who's playing Detroit on Thanksgiving. Keys, let me ask you here, because I did my picks video. I know what One Pride's going to say. What's it about 50-50 Green Bay is going to win this game in Detroit?
Yeah, they're just going to dominate us. Like, come on now. It's not even going to be a contest.
59-0, is that what you said, Dan?
Something like that, yeah. Or it might be the opposite direction, He might say 59-0 for the Lions on the Lions win.
So I mean, Keith, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but Thanksgiving Day, I know I'm throwing you some curveballs here. Lions, Packers. What are the odds Packers win this game?
Hey, Dan, look where I put the Lions in my updated tiers this week.
Hey, show them the Lions love, baby.
That says it all. And let's see if we can find the Packers here.
Where do you have the Packers, by the way?
Packers are really, his is a little different, but he has the Packers way down there. So, yeah.
Yep, I have them down there, too.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, so Green Bay at 4-6, probably going 4-7. Rams at 4-6.
Whoa! Those are fighting words now. Come on now.
But the Rams are 4-6.
No. We're about to go 4 and aren't the Packers 3-7?
Packers are 4-6.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. They are going to go 4-7 then.
So the Rams are 4-6. The Falcons are 4-6. Tampa Bay's 4-6. Which one of these teams is going to catch up to Seattle, who's 6-4 right now? Now, Seattle has a really tough game against San Francisco. They are hosting, but I mean, which one of these teams jumps up? I mean, I know the Rams swept the Seahawks, but they still got to catch up 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So is the question what team, or is the question if a team will? Because looking at Seattle's remaining schedule, it's 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles, Titans, and Steelers, and they may win 2 of those games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I'm my question is, which team gets in, Mark? Yeah, and so you mentioned some teams that aren't going to get in. Which team
like over Seattle?
Yeah.
Over Seattle. If a team can get over Seattle in the NFC, I would go Saints.
Well, I have the Saints winning the division, and I think Keys has the same thing.
Well, I'd probably go Bucks then. Probably go Bucks.
All right, Bucks. Yeah, I think the Rams. I think the Rams are the only team that could do it because the Rams swept the Seahawks, so the tie would go to the Rams. But I mean, they just have to stay healthy, and I know Cooper Kupp got a little banged up in that game, so we'll have to see. And by the way, Mark, I don't think any of us have the Colts getting in, but they're a team that has a possibility. And I think the Colts are a team that nobody's talking about. I think they could really scare somebody because what you would have, the way the playoffs are set up, let's say they get in, Chiefs fans can tell you firsthand, old school Chiefs fans, myself, can tell you that the Colts have had their way with the Chiefs in the playoffs over the years. So I don't want to see the Colts in the first round of the playoffs, but I agree with One Pride that the Chiefs are going to end up with the 1 seed. So
it's going to be the Ravens.
All right, so playoff teams. Let me ask you this, because I put all of them down here. Are any of these teams you think are not going to make the playoffs?
From your list?
Yeah, from my list. Which one of these teams here are? Because I put all 4 of them in there.
From your list.
Yeah. Which team, is there a team that you're looking at and saying no?
Possible no? I mean, these are all pretty likely. Out of all of them, I probably say Browns.
All right, and you guys both had the Browns in. So basically what you're telling me is my list is correct. Of course it is.
Nah, the correct list is mine. Like, come on now.
All right, so we have Super Bowl contenders here. I'll Keys threw some curveballs in here, and I love it. A little hate of Philly at 6, Miami at 7. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't know. Can you guys is the slide 4 thing that I have, is it blocking One Pride's, or can you guys see One Pride's?
I can see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why do you have the Eagles at 6?
I have the Eagles at 6 because it was kind of like the Chiefs and Dolphins game where I came away from that game utterly unimpressed. And kind of the reason I dropped Kansas City out of the Super Bowl favorites, because both teams are coming off of a bye, and I expected more from each team coming off of the bye. And the reality was the Eagles didn't actually beat Kansas City. Kansas City beat Kansas City. And I wasn't expecting Kansas City's defense to look as dominant in this game as they have all season. And I know part of that's on me, but I'm a very slow and stubborn show me guy. And so last year in the Super Bowl, you give up 35 points to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. This time it's 21 points. So you're talking a 2 touchdown difference here. the reality in the game was it was one or two, or if you want to say three dropped passes by Chiefs receivers and a few untimely penalties, and that's the game. And it could have been, I don't know. I don't think it's crazy to say it could have been a 14, 17-point Kansas City win if receivers just simply hang on to the ball. So I was unimpressed with them. So for me, it's kind of like I bumped other teams up.
I didn't watch the whole game, but I heard that Andy Reid should have gone for it for one play. I heard about. Is that correct? Like it was like a 4th down play, and he should have went for it.
There's always one or two a game, but I know Dan agreed with the decision to punt. I think is what he's talking about. The 4th down at like the 39-yard line.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand why he didn't want to kick a field goal in the rainy conditions. I think there's probably another one that I'm forgetting, Dan, but there's always one or two he should go for it. He doesn't.
That was the main one. It was like at the 40, and if the weather was clear, it's an easy field goal. I mean, when I say easy, Butker's arguably the best kicker in the NFL right now. He's not missed a kick all year, and he's nailed a 60-yarder. It was in Denver, but still, didn't he nail a 60-yarder at Arrowhead, Keys, or am I just making stuff up? Anyway, I mean, if it wasn't rain and cold, cold conditions, Chiefs kick a field goal there. I didn't have a problem with punting the ball though.
Well, I mean, I'll say this though. I mean, Andy Reid's a creative mind, and I feel like he could have drawn something up.
All right, so here's the deal. Let me break this down. It was 3rd and 1. And what they did is they used Kadarius Toney in the backfield, and they used Kadarius Toney on a play that's been successful, and he lost 2 yards. So instead of it being a 4th and 1, which I think the Chiefs would have gone for, it was 4th and 3. And I think under normal circumstances that's a field goal, but the Chiefs defense was playing so good. You have to realize before that final drive, I mean, 3.5 quarters, they kept the Eagles to 156 or 159 yards. It was just a very, very impressive performance. It's old school football. And your defense is amazing, but it's so weird because I'm so used to your offense just being dynamic and your defense being meh. Yeah, I'll be honest, I kind of like it. The Chiefs are able to run the ball. They ran for, I think, like 169 or 163 yards. The defense played phenomenal, and it should have been a win. I'm still pissed. I'm going to give both you guys, I'm going to talk to both of you guys about your list because you guys have a few teams that I don't have. I want to start with One Pride and the Jacksonville Jaguars as Super Bowl contenders. Can you elaborate on this?
After that Titans win, they looked really dominant. And, they came off a bad loss, and then they bounced back and just dominated. And then that's what a good team does. They absolutely have a good chance of being a Super Bowl contender.
All right. Keys, I'm going to give you a chance here because you don't have the Jags as a Super Bowl contender here. I mean, is this something wrong?
Yeah, I just don't. I don't think that they're going to be a team that can actually go that many weeks into the playoffs at this point.
But you think the Lions can though?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
What do you mean? Awesome. Do I had them as my preseason NFC Super Bowl representative.
All right, I do like that too.
I haven't changed my mind on them.
So. Yeah, I'm gonna level with it, and it was 60 at Arrowhead. Yeah, so a 56-yarder is definitely possible.
But I mean, if it's in the cold and rain, I do understand now. Yeah. But I thought like you could probably just kept your offense on the field and just converted.
Well, I mean, if the third down, it was 3rd and short. If that play would have worked, then right. If you didn't lose yards, they would have gone for it, but against that defense and the way the Chiefs defense actually like to call.
And the fact that our end short play calls are absolutely atrocious, and they have been like every year. It doesn't matter who. It's not the offensive coordinator anyway, because that's Andy. But he doesn't have good like end short plays, and so. But if you're going to ask me why I still have the Chiefs ahead of the Lions, it's just simply because it was a 1-point win without Travis or Chris Jones. So that was my rationale, whether you guys like it or not.
No, I like the Chiefs. I respect them. Hell yeah.
One pride here. I'm just going to look. I don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars, but it is interesting because the Jags play the Houston Texans this week in Houston, and if Houston wins this game, Houston would have swept the Jaguars and will have the lead in the AFC South. It's going to be a really good game. One I'm looking forward to. It's a good matchup. But earlier in the season, preseason, I thought the Jags could be a potential Super Bowl team. They just the offense isn't as sharp, and I'm not impressed with the defense either. But one thing that both you guys have that I have left off is I have Miami, and I have Miami like kind of down here, but I don't know why I put them all the way down here. I think they're a pretty good team, but
they are a great team. Just a lot of speed.
You both have them as a Super Bowl contender, and I do not. Keys, why is the Miami Dolphins a Super Bowl contender?
Yeah, I mean, I have them as my 7th best team. I think that things may change next year depending on what we see Mike McDaniel be able to do as a full season goes on. He didn't really do a great job last year, mid-season onward, making his adjustments. Will he fall into that again this year, or will he be able to adjust as the season goes on? I think that's the number one question as to how far the Dolphins can actually go, other than can you keep Tua healthy and figure out what the winning teams are doing against you. So if you want to leave them off because of their record against winning teams, I'm fine with that. But to me, they're kind of like right there on the line of playoff team and Super Bowl contender. And it's more of the potential to be explosive and still believing in Vic Fangio that they're hanging around there on 7 for me.
That's interesting. I mean, the reason why I got them so high is like that's a lot of speed, and I feel like they could possibly at least win one playoff game, at least win one, but I don't see them going deep like he says.
It's funny. If the playoffs were to start today, it would be Miami versus Cleveland, and I definitely would have Miami winning that game.
Yep.
But I really just don't think that they're a threat in the AFC. But I want to clarify something here. You have Miami better than Jacksonville, correct?
Yep.
All right.
Well, with the Dolphins, that's a lot of speed, but if you just smack them in the mouth, I mean, they don't really respond to that well, in my opinion.
Denver Gator says, just a reminder, everybody saw Levis first start and went crazy, but I'm still standing at Mayo boy still sucks as always. And
I like him.
I like remind
Levis.
Me about that, Denver Gator. I'm drinking coffee, and then you reminded me of that. Now I don't want to drink any more coffee.
I like Levis, man. Like, come on.
That is disgusting, by the way.
It is disgusting.
It's disgusting. Don't put mayo in coffee. Come on, Will.
Oh, did you see like what JMO does to his cheeseburgers?
I don't want to hear. I'm trying. I got go ahead. Let me know.
You want me to let you know right now?
It better not be disgusting.
In a cheeseburger?
It is. Yeah,
it's disgusting.
It's the cheeseburger, and he puts a McFlurry in it.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Oh, what? I don't know about that, man.
No, I used to dip my French fries in shakes.
I feel like it's a little bit different, though.
I would take a bite of that before I would drink coffee with mayo in it.
I agree there.
Mayo is just disgusting, and I was drinking coffee right as Denver Gator sent that because Denver Gator loves me.
I don't think it would be bad. I think the coffee with mayo would be bad, but I wouldn't want to take a second bite of the McFlurry on a burger, but I don't think it would be like bad. So
hold on, so like,
I'm kind of curious.
Can you elaborate on this a little bit? So like, he like dips the cheeseburger in the McFlurry.
No, he basically just pours the McFlurry onto the cheeseburger.
Onto like the patty?
No, onto the meat. Yeah, on the patty. Yeah.
Okay.
So like he's put. By the way, this is why. This is why.
What flavor McFlurry?
Gambling. This is why he got nailed gambling, and
I think it's Oreo.
That's just weird.
I think it's Oreo.
Dipping your French fries in a McFlurry makes sense, but not putting it on your burger. So.
My question is when was he pregnant to have that craving to discover that combo?
Who knows?
Oh God.
He must have been menstruating.
That's a weird one, man. That is a weird one, but it's not as bad. Keith puts down here a lot of old KC offenses with Tyreek and Sammy Watkins and do well against the Titans or Colts or other physical teams. That is one thing I do like is that I think the Chiefs are a more physical defense that can stand up, and I love the fact they ran for so many yards against a really good defensive front.
I think the offense has been good. But I was kind of going back to one pride talking about the Dolphins. It's like, Tyreek is the common denominator there, but that was kind of how defenses were playing us when we had Tyreek and whoever, Sammy or whoever was be really physical with our offense, and you could shut down the receivers is kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah, but you still got Travis Kelce, though. Even if you shut down your wide receivers with Tyreek Hill, you got Travis Kelce just streaking along.
Which is why we could still win, but the Dolphins don't have that tight end.
You're right. Could you imagine them with Laporta?
I agree with you, One Pride, that Laporta would look really good in Chiefs
uniform.
He would look great in a Chiefs uniform. I mean, it just kind of makes sense. And also think that was really smart by the Lions to give him 87. I thought that was really smart.
Wait, why is that?
I mean, best tight end in football wears 87.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Yeah. So what was your
are you sure
what's
you're not
your
talking
trade
about
I did, Dan?
I'm sorry?
You sure you're not talking about Gronk?
No, definitely. If Laporte, I said this before the draft. I mean, I hate making the comparison, but Laporta reminds me a lot of Kelce. I mean, he's not a guy you're going to put in a 3-point stance blocking the defensive end, but you can put him out.
Oh, my bad. Though I just dropped my phone. Keep going.
All right. But
all right.
Yeah, I think the 87 move was planned, and I thought it was really smart.
I think he picked it out too, though. I mean, the players got to pick it out.
No, actually, you're assigned it by the team.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So, like Isaiah Pacheco, when he was drafted,
Tyreek's number.
Yeah, they gave him Tyreek's number. No, the team picks it out. Sometimes, if you're a first round pick, sometimes you give a little bit of a say, but no, the teams choose out the numbers, and they gave Laporta 87. And I think they did that on purpose, and I thought that was a smart move.
All right.
We're going to go to Super Bowl favorites. Now, One Pride has 4 teams going to the Super Bowl this year in a crazy.
These are my contenders. These are my contenders.
No,
these are like NFC and my AFC championship.
No, I like it. And I'm assuming you're going in order too. You're going Eagles number 1, Ravens 2, Chiefs 3, 49ers 4.
Correct.
Okay. So what you're seeing is that, by the way, I really could see this happening. I mean, right now, Baltimore hasn't had its bye, but in the AFC, there's 5 teams with exactly 3 losses. Baltimore's the only one that hasn't had a bye, so they're in first place, but they're going to play this week against the Chargers. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, kind of weird cheering for the Chargers, but I am going to cheer for the Chargers on Sunday night. But I'm sure they'll
damn ponies can't do shit.
I mean, seriously, I'm not. Here's the deal. I was looking at the schedule. They already had their bye. I think there's a legitimate chance if Baltimore beats them bad enough, Staley's fired Monday.
Black Monday?
think that could happen. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. I really do. I think that am I crazy? Could Staley be fired this weekend?
I mean,
Wait, I thought Black Monday was at the end of the season.
No. I'm talking this week.
Oh, okay.
I think
I can see it. Yeah, I could definitely see it.
Baltimore, he could be fired. Keys in my own crack.
Not really.
You are, but not for saying that.
Do you think he sticks around for a little bit more?
I mean, I guess like what's the justification though? I don't like. Yeah, he should be fired. He should have already been fired. Even in the off season. But how are you going to fire a guy for beating what I have is the best team in the NFL? Like, how are you going to fire him for that one? You know what I mean? It's like you fire him for losing to, like, I don't know, pick a really bad team. Like the Panthers.
The Panthers, yeah.
You fire him for losing like 38-4 to the Panthers. Mm-hmm. So it's like
4. But he's still getting fired, though. I do think he's still getting fired.
Yeah, he should get fired. It would just be weird for them to fire him after that particular game is all I'm saying.
Well, here's my logic behind it. Here's their schedule. They have Baltimore Sunday night. Then it's at New England, Denver, at the Raiders, Buffalo, at Denver, and then final game of the season, hopefully against Kansas City Chiefs backups, but we'll have to wait and see. The reason why I think that you fire him if this is a bad enough loss is that you can rally your team and maybe get a win. You could also try to kickstart the Kellen Moore era. More than likely, I think that it would be you fire them after New England if you lose to New England. But I really think that the Staley hot seat, because if you
that thing is scorching hot.
Oh yeah, I mean, here's the drill. Right now, the Chargers are 4-6. I think if you go to 4-7. You're not mathematically eliminated, but at 4-7, you're mathematically eliminated. I mean, you're not getting into the playoffs at 4-7. Why not make a move now? So I really think that this is a bad enough loss. We could see the start of the Kellen Moore era, and I think that makes a lot of sense. Give Kellen Moore.
I got a little bit of a hot. I still think Ben Johnson goes there.
It's going to be a very interesting story. It's going to be a great Black Monday show.
Yeah. You actually doing the show or no?
I'm leaning towards doing it. We got like another 7 weeks, but as of right now, yes, I think it's a great idea. If you're willing to come down, I'm going to ask Keys if he wants to come in. We got a couple months left into the season, but as of right now, I think it's a great idea.
Dan.
Yeah,
I think one of the things that helps you as a head coach for the Chargers is the owner doesn't really have to worry about ticket sales because every game there is an away game anyway. So it's like it's not affecting your bottom line. People are still going to play. Are going to pay for tickets to come watch their team beat your team in sunny Los Angeles and take over the stadium. So,
I really do. I think that we're kind of to the point in the season where we could see some head coaches getting fired, and I think Staley with a loss. I think you go 4-7. I think management could make a move.
That's definitely a hot seat job. Rivera, that seat's hot as well. Rivera's
I've heard. Well, Rivera's going to lose the general manager part of his job.
I think he loses both.
I think he does too, but he's definitely getting fired as a general manager. You have a new ownership group. There's been more and more talk about Belichick going to Washington. So usually in a situation like this, when there's smoke, there's fire. So I think there's legitimate talks going on between the Patriots and and Washington behind the scenes. It makes sense. It
Okay.
just makes sense. You know,
Even Flus, he's going to get fired as well.
it'll be weird. It'll be weird. But one pride, since you got 4 teams here, Eagles, 49ers, these 2 teams play. Is it you just Eagles are definitely the better team. They're the best team in the NFL. They would crush the 49ers. Same thing like last year, 38-7, or
No, I don't think the Eagles are as dominant. I think they're beatable, though.
okay. But you have the Eagles clearly above the 49ers.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Keys, you have San Francisco as number 2, which I absolutely love, by the way. I love your Super Bowl favorites. I think it's fantastic. One Pride just said the Eagles are better. You gave a litany of reasons why you weren't impressed with the Eagles. Educate One Pride on why San Francisco is the Super Bowl favorite and not the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think if they stay healthy, to me, they are a better team from what I've seen. Doesn't mean both teams have a lot of talent, and I'm not saying the Eagles don't have more talent, but from what I've seen, the utilization of it this year, and especially even going back to last night, offense just wasn't that impressive, and even the defense for the talent there, at least on the defensive line, wasn't all that impressive for me either. So I'm coming back to what I said there. Whereas I think the coaching staff utilizes their talent in San Francisco, and it's really a question of health. And Dan, like you were last week, you were talking about them, and they heard you and they came out and played.
I really believe this, that when healthy, I think the San Francisco 49ers are the best team in football, talent-wise. I'm not as high on Shanahan as you are, Keith, but I still think he's
I do. My reason why the 49ers a little bit are lower on my list, I'm not crazy about their secondary. And outside of, like, on the offensive line, outside of Trent Williams, I'm not sure who else is, like, that all-star on the offensive line. Meanwhile, I could look at the Eagles and I could name like 3 really good O-linemen on that team.
That's fair enough. I have no faith that the 49ers are going to enter the playoffs completely healthy. But if they do, that's a team I don't want to play.
Hey, Dan, can I throw something up really quick?
Absolutely.
We'll show One Pride a little bit what I'm talking about here. This is from last night. Okay, so these are the stats in this game, One Pride. Knowing how bad our receivers are, look at what happened in this game. Kansas City won essentially every category of this game, even outgaining Philly by nearly 100 yards. And that's even with all the drops and the issues they had in this game. So, it's like that's why when I looked at Philly, I was really unimpressed with their utilization of their talent so far this season. And before the bye, I was willing to give both teams, a little bit of benefit of the doubt. But coming out of the bye, it's now, for me, it's you got to show me time. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I understand now. Yeah.
No, I agree, and I mean I'm like I said, if San Francisco enters the playoffs healthy, and by the way, things are going to change because San Francisco is going to play Seattle on Thanksgiving, but the playoffs were to start today. San Francisco would be the 3 seed, and they would play Seattle, which the NFC playoffs would be a lot of fun because you have Detroit playing Minnesota, San Francisco playing Seattle, and I mean you have 2. Division rivals playing each other. But keep in mind, I think all of us believe San Francisco is going to win. So when San Francisco wins, there's a chance if Minnesota, I forgot who Minnesota plays this week. I literally just did my picks video and I completely forgot.
So what do you think of like the Denver
Bears?
and?
Yeah, they played the Bears on Monday night. So there's a very good chance that those 2 teams could flip-flop after.
Minnesota has a pretty tough schedule, though. Like
they do.
The rest of the I mean, I'm looking at it, and you never know how the Bengals are going to be, but that looks like maybe at most 4 wins the rest of the way, 4 out of 6.
I mean, the one thing about Minnesota, and I mean, I just love the Dobbs story. I was so high on Dobbs coming out of Tennessee. I really liked him coming out of Tennessee. And I just as an old school guy, I love the way they play defense. I love the 6-man fronts, and you have no idea what they're doing. It's very confusing. It's different, and it works. You're going to get Justin Jefferson coming back. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Justin Jefferson entering this offense is going to be a good thing or a bad thing. If you're playing Madden, of course, it's a good thing, but you have to realize something. Joshua Dobbs has never practiced with Justin Jefferson, and this offense revolves around Justin Jefferson. And the offense with Josh Dobbs has just been kind of like 1-2 run, a lot of improvising, a lot of, quote unquote street ball type stuff. And now that you bring in Justin Jefferson back from injury, you're going to do something completely different. How's that going to affect things? Because I mean, it was working with Dobbs. I know they lost against Denver, but I mean, what they were doing, believe it or not, worked. So now you had Justin Jefferson. There's a question mark there, but it's going to be interesting. Keys. Baltimore is the number 1 team in the NFL at 8-3.
Absolutely.
All right, so now the One Pride has Baltimore as the better team. He has them better than Kansas City. Mm-hmm. Baltimore would play San Francisco in a 52 rematch or something like that. I can't remember. Back when maybe it was 48. Back when the Harbaugh brothers played each other. The Harbaugh brothers, coached against each other. So Baltimore's the best team in football, even without Mark Andrews.
Are you asking me that?
I'm asking Keys.
Yeah, I think with the defense and the weapons they still have there, if I recall correctly, Andrews went out really early in the game, right? Did he not?
Yeah. He went out. Now I've been following this on social media. He's out for the year. However, if they make a deep playoff run, AFC Championship, Super Bowl, he might be able to come back. I think with Andrews, I probably would have put Baltimore over Kansas City, but without Andrews, I'm going to put Kansas City there. I like the Chiefs defense. Believe it or not, I like the Chiefs defense better. It's different. It's so different than the Ravens defense. I could spend hours talking about how they play and how different it is, but I like Chiefs defense just a hair better. I don't trust Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. I trust Patrick Mahomes.
I understand that. I wouldn't disagree with either of those 2 points. It's just kind of, with whether it's Andy, well, it all comes back to Andy in a way, because whether it's Andy or even if part of it is Matt Nagy or if a chunk of it is Connor Embry, the wide receiver coach who's never been a wide receiver before, that was brought in with a very young wide receiver group, whatever it is, it all comes back to Andy, because it's all Andy. Even if the wide receiver talent isn't good enough, that's not Brett Veach, it's Andy Reid, because everything goes through Andy. And so I think we're kind of at a point where, even though Andy is now top 4 in the NFL in coaching wins in NFL history, and it's kind of sacrilegious as a Chiefs fan to say this, there's plenty to be questioning Andy on, especially coming off the bye and seeing nothing change with the offense, in as far as receivers still dropping passes and still wrong receivers being on the field, less talented receivers being on the field, and the receivers on the field being utilized in mostly still the wrong way. Coming off of bye is just frustrating. And so I think that Andy and John Harbaugh are close enough, and those games between the two have been close enough, and each one has had Tyreek Hill to where, for me, while I 100%, we haven't seen Lamar tested, and our defense is probably better. Their offense is still better without Mark Andrews, simply because defenses are taking away Travis Kelce, and we're not making them pay for it with the passing game anyway. So Odell, Zay Flowers, Bateman, whoever you want to say, compare them to Kansas City's wide receivers right now, and their offensive line isn't anything to blank at either. So maybe at worst it's a toss up between the two, but Lamar still has the wheels, and so there's that dimension of it. That to me, I put him at number 1, and I bumped Kansas City down to 3.
I love that, and I understand the logic 100%. I mean, I think talent wise, I think top to bottom, Baltimore's a more talented team. I think Andrews is amazing. I think that just taking him out just by himself, that alone. But I mean, just to be honest with you, if I did like one pride and I was going to put the top 4 teams in there, I would obviously put Baltimore in there. One pride, you have Baltimore better than Kansas City also, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Can you elaborate on that a little more?
Hard to say, but I get where you're coming from, that you don't trust Lamar Jackson, but I do trust, for me, I trust, even though your defense has played well, Baltimore's defense has played well, and so their offense as a whole. So that's why I have them ahead of you.
Okay. Just offensive performance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Dan, if you wanted to throw in Todd Monken not being an NFL offensive coordinator in the playoffs before, and maybe things tighten up, I would understand that.
But they don't have Greg Roman anymore, and that's been their Achilles heel. Todd Monken's done a lot better than Roman has as of now.
100%, but we don't know. All I'm saying is we don't know what these guys are going to look like in the playoffs, because sometimes as games become more important, offensive and defensive coordinators can have a tendency to get afraid to stick with their tendencies. And that's something we don't know.
That was something Greg Roman did. That 14-2 MVP season, they had in that loss against Tennessee, they had Lamar Jackson throwing 59 times. They just completely panicked and shit themselves. And listen, Todd Monken, he's done a great job. There's no debating that. But I mean, it's a lot different playing Kansas City versus playing TCU. I mean, it's big difference, and that's a great point. I went back to the Super Bowl contenders here. I'm going to start off with one pride, and one pride. I'm going to take away the Lions. I'm going to not the Lions. You got 3 Super Bowl contenders here. You got Dallas, you got Miami, you got Jacksonville. Which one of those 3 teams would you? I know you got 4 here, but which one of these 3 teams that you have here that you would say is the most likely to get into the Super Bowl out of your Super Bowl contenders? Which one's most likely?
Outside of Detroit?
No Detroit.
Dallas.
Why Dallas over Miami and Jacksonville?
I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record with this. I mean, Dallas's defense, pretty much Dallas's defense, and I feel like I think Dallas doesn't Dallas play Miami this year?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but I know Dallas does play Philly again.
All you had to do is say they almost beat Philly and should have won, right? Yes, They do play the Dolphins.
We'll see.
Christmas Eve.
That's going to be a good one.
Yeah.
It's-
So that's going to tell us all about the Cowboys. in my opinion.
The Cowboys' last 4 games are awesome games. Eagles at Cowboys, Cowboys at Bills, Cowboys at Dolphins, and then Lions at Cowboys.
That's
And
just-
if you like the Seahawks, the game before that is Seahawks and Cowboys. So
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a fun time for Cowboys fans. A lot of them think that they're the best team. Keys here. I'm going to take away. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to take away Kansas City. I'm going to take away Detroit because I know that's your Super Bowl pick here. You got Dallas, Philly, and Miami. Which one of those 3 teams are a team that you're like that's a Super Bowl team?
yeah, and I just want to point out first off that because One Pride had 4 Super Bowl favorites, that means that the Lions were his number 5 ranked team. And me as a Chiefs fan had the Lions as my 4th ranked team, and Dan, you have them as your 6th.
Yeah.
But I just want to point that I have them ranked higher than the Lions fan does. For all you Lions fans out there,
The Lions fan. Whoa. Okay.
but yeah, if you're asking, I have to take away Kansas City and Detroit because those were my actual Super Bowl matchup. Which one is most likely?
Yeah, just out of these 3 here, which one of these 3 teams is like that's a Super Bowl team?
I mean, it's really hard to not say Philly after they made it to the Super Bowl last year. I still don't believe in Mike McCarthy and Dak enough, though. So this is a really hard one. It would be a toss-up between those 2 teams. I would probably lean Philly barely.
Okay.
Over Dallas?
Over Dallas, just like barely. And that would be assuming a little bit more growth in the system, like from the offensive and defensive coordinators that they have and the players getting more comfortable with them. And the fact that the offensive and defensive lines are so good.
Oh yeah, for both sides.
Yeah, I could see that as well. Now I still think that I said this when I did my live stream broadcast. I said win or lose, I still think these are the 2 best teams in the NFL. Even though I have San Francisco at 3 and Baltimore at 4. I have no confidence San Francisco is going to enter the playoffs healthy. I think that they're going to have injuries. They have almost no depth. Baltimore, I just don't trust Lamar Jackson. I would be a much higher on Baltimore with Mark Andrews. So if he comes back for the playoffs, Baltimore would probably be, I think, maybe the team to beat in the AFC. Answer the question I've asked both you guys. I'm still sold on Dallas. I know Mike McCarthy's kind of questionable coaching.
So Dan, are you saying as in sold? Do you mean you're in? You don't like them, or you do like them?
Oh, I do like them. I think Dallas to answer the same question. Which team would I put as a Super Bowl caliber team that's not on my list? Dallas would be the team, and the reason being is that the defense is really, really good, and the offense has playmakers, even though it hasn't really gelled. I was really impressed with Dallas against Philly, even though they lost that game. It looked like they were the better team. I know I've been kind of dogging Detroit. I don't know if it's just because I'm still salty about them taking a couple hundred of my bucks week 1.
Wait, how much did you bet?
I bet a couple hundred. I lost a couple hundred.
Holy smokes!
Yeah, that's why. And then a lot of, not you, but a lot of Lions fans were dicks, and I had to block a few. So I'm kind of mad. I'm holding a grudge. But if you notice here, I'm wearing Lions colors.
Yeah, Dan, I told you before the season the Lions would beat the Chiefs, and
you and Luke G and I just thought you guys were drinking the Kool-Aid because you guys.
No, I actually really thought they would.
You guys are nuts. You guys are crazy. And then Lucci came on and said, there was about 19 holding penalties that should have been called. And it's like, no.
There was some.
By the way, I shouldn't say anything. I should save it for next time you're on. But I was going to set up. I had a joke thing set up. It's just that it took me a while to put this together. I had some pictures lined up of what One Pride really looks like, and I was going to see if Keys could figure it out, but I didn't have a chance to do that. I might do that next.
Whoa! Hold on now. Just kidding. I'm really handsome.
You think of adding Shaq Leonard to the linebacking core if he clears waivers. The biggest problem, Gooch, is his contract. I don't have the numbers, but you have to pick up. It's like $6.5 million this year, $16 million next year. It's something insane. He's not healthy. I love Shaq Leonard, and I mean, I think you can use them in almost any scheme. The way the Chiefs play defense, he would be perfect. He would be absolutely perfect. Chiefs don't have the money. I'm looking at all the teams. The only team I could think of that has the cap space, and I think he would fit into the scheme perfect would be Houston.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
I wouldn't mind him.
Yeah, that would. I mean, seriously, he would be perfect in Detroit. I just don't think Detroit has the cap space. But
they don't. Well, they do next year. They have $70 million in cap space next year, according to Over the Cap.
Well, we're going to talk quite a bit about the Lions because they got some free agents that they have to figure out what to do with. And
hey, Dan. Now, Gooch said if he cleared waivers, right? So that would make him a free agent.
I think
and you wouldn't be claiming his actual.
I think he's actually cleared waivers. I think he's already cleared waivers.
So he's a free agent.
I'm not 100% sure about that.
So he's a free agent?
I believe he is. And I may be wrong about that because he was cut and he's going through the process. I don't know for a fact. I may just be making stuff up as I go along, but I believe Shaq Leonard has cleared waivers. And for those of you who aren't familiar with the way waivers work, okay, so he hasn't cleared it. So the way it works is that the team with the worst record, which would be the Carolina Panthers, has the first option to go ahead and pick him up. And then the team with the best record, which would be the Philadelphia Eagles, they would be the last team. So it goes Carolina to Philly, and so all these teams have an option. I thought I saw something where he hasn't, or he's cleared, but I could be making that up because he just was cut today. I think he's going to clear waivers completely because of that contract. The only team I'm looking at that would really be a legitimate team to sign him would be the Houston Texans. And keep in mind, the Houston Texans don't have a first-round pick and they don't have a third-round pick because they gave up that draft capital for Will Anderson. So maybe signing a guy like Leonard, who I think fits that defensive scheme, makes sense. But when I look at all the teams in the NFL, Houston's the only one I can think. I think Nick Bolton's going to come back in a few weeks. So I don't know if you're talking just as a Chiefs fan or not, Gooch. So
yeah, I think he's probably just interested, though, if he does clear waivers and you can offer him whatever contract.
Well, plus, I think your linebackers are already solid as they are right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But, so it sounds like if a team does claim him, they owe him $6.1 million the rest of the season.
I know it's a 3-year guaranteed deal. It's something crazy. It's like 6-1 this year, over $16 million next year. I think it's like 18 or something in 3 years, and he's got injury concerns. I have to admit, I haven't watched a lot of the Colts play, but I know Zaire Franklin, who took over for him, has been playing lights out, and they're super happy with him. And
I remember he got some spotlight in Hard Knocks when the Lions were on.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember that? Him and Jamal Williams got into a scuffle.
No, I don't remember that, but it doesn't surprise me. I love Shaquille Leonard. I really do.
No, Zaire Franklin.
Oh, Zaire Franklin? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Zaire Franklin. if I remember right, he was a 4th-round pick, replaced him, and almost led the NFL in tackles. It's a very similar story. Forsay Olakun, who I'm butchering his name for Jacksonville, who, late round pick, special teams guy, gets thrust into the starting role and just dominates. And Zaire Franklin's just one of those guys. And, it's sad, to hear a player who was one of the best players in the league now just, hey, you get cut. But it's nature of the beast, man.
Yeah.
The way Keys, here's the deal, and the way I understand it, Gooch, is the way Leonard's contract set up. He has to get paid that set amount of money, and it sounds like it's kind of a bad contract that he signed. The way I understand it, but I don't know this for a fact, Gooch. I'm kind of just making stuff up. Guys, listen, I'm going to end this show a little early tonight, partly because Keys is having a special after-hour show with some ladies. It's going to be there's a chance it's going to be a little R-rated. I don't know.
Dan, you sure it's not men? You sure it's not men?
What?
For Keys over there, you sure it's not men?
No. He's got ladies set up for his show, and it's gonna go on in about 30 minutes, and I'm actually.
It's got to be Big Bertha's.
I'm kind of excited to watch it, to tell you the truth. The way I understand it, I thought it was a great idea. It's a great concept, and I want to thank Keith for coming on, because he hit me up. He's like, hey Dan, I'm at the end of the show early. Also, I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm having a hard time talking. That's also part of it. I woke up early in the morning, knocked out the videos. It was a lot of talking, and I'm just having problems here. My throat from yelling at MVS is kind of struggling. So
first it was Kadarius Toney, then there was MVS. Man, you're not.
It's funny because all I want from a receiver is just to catch the ball. And I remember the first time I watched Amon-Ra St. Brown, I just remember the guy just caught everything. And I didn't think he was the most athletic guy in the world, but
he is a really crisp route runner.
Oh yeah, and he catches everything. And
I know.
I was like, God, why can't we get another guy like that? Same thing I thought when we had Juju Smith-Schuster. I 100% understood the logic behind that. I said this on the live stream, and I'm going to say it over and over and over again. The Chiefs, I think, for the next couple of years in rounds 2, 3, 4, and 5, are going to draft either a wide receiver or a tight end. Every single draft.
If you expect, you're not going to like this comment, but if you're expecting to get another St. Brown, I wouldn't totally bank on that, because St. Brown has that dog mentality. I mean, he can name all the receivers that he was drafting before him multiple times. So I'm not sure you're going to find another receiver like that. You know what I mean?
By the way, I did post this. Gooch loves it. The MVS reaction was the greatest thing. I thought about posting the actual play, but I didn't want to go for an infringement, because I'm very, very close to getting monetized. So I'm trying to watch my P's and Q's. And by the way, if you haven't checked it out already, my picks video, it's amazing. It's fantastic. Do check it out. But here's the drill though. Travis Kelce is the 3rd-round pick. Tyreek Hill is a 5th-round pick. Puka Nota, I'm butchering that name, 5th-round pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4th-round pick. Cooper Kupp, 3rd-round pick. You can find receivers in those later rounds that can catch a fucking football, and that's all I'm saying.
You can go in the first. I mean, Jamar Chase.
Tyler Boyd is probably going to be a free agent. He was a 4th-round pick.
T. Higgins.
He was 2nd round. Yeah. So I mean, you're going to see that. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see this for the next couple of years. Is that they're just going to keep doing this over and over again until they get guys that can do it. And
now, I will say this though. I mean, I said I appreciate even in the beginning of the season. I was never a fan of your tackles.
Jawan Taylor's not playing bad. Donovan Smith's not too bad.
How do you drop that?
I know.
How?
I know. I you know what? Maybe I should have this is the picture I should have used instead of the one I used. But
If only we had a bye week for guys to be hitting the jugs machine. If only.
If only, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can get whatever receivers we want. We should probably think about getting a legitimate wide receiver coach back into Kansas City and just end the whole experimenting crap that Andy Reid does on offense.
By the way, if you're not aware, Keith sent out on Twitter that David Coley, former Chiefs wide receiver coach, is available.
He is.
And I was always a fan of David Coley.
You know, I did mention this. I think after Ben Johnson leaves, Randall L takes over.
I don't know for a fact, and you know more than I do, but normally the way the progression works is that your quarterback coach usually steps in, and I'm kind of expecting Mark Brunell to step in as the offensive coordinator. Yeah, that just kind of makes sense to me.
But Ben Johnson was a tight ends coach.
Well, I mean, Dan Campbell's tight ends coach. That makes sense. I'm just saying usually the way it works is that usually your quarterback coach will step in. But, I mean, the way that they do things in Detroit's a little different. But if Ben Johnson does get a head coaching job, and I fully expect him to,
yep,
I would put the favorite as Brunell personally, but I'm only wearing Detroit colors today. I don't know.
Also, too, Raiders, if you hear me, take Aaron Glenn.
All right, so listen, I'm gonna wrap up here, but the final thoughts, questions, concerns, anything at all. One Pride, anything you want to say before we end the show tonight?
Thank you guys for having me on. Make sure you like and subscribe, and go Lions. We're about to smack the Packers on Thursday.
It's going to be a great game. For some reason, my family wants to do Thanksgiving as early as possible. I know I'm a nighttime guy. Keys, you're a nighttime guy. My family wants me to pick my dad up and be over at my mom's at noon, and it's like you're kidding me. It's a holiday, and I got to get up early. I mean, it's like it's a whole ordeal. I'm kind of. Like my family's not. Well, I mean, I have a great family. Don't get me wrong. So, but they want to do the holidays early. It drives me nuts. So
You sound like
part of the Lions Packers game. So I'm kind of pissed at that.
You sound like some single 20-something-year-old college student, Dan.
You're not
gonna wake up early.
You're not far off.
My mom wants to do Thanksgiving early.
You're not far off, Keys. You're not far off.
That does OnlyFans.
Oh God, I'm no OnlyFans on Thanksgiving. So
no OnlyFans on Thanksgiving.
No OnlyFans on Thanksgiving. So
gotcha. What about
yeah?
What about the Big Bertha catalogs? You hiding those too?
Keys, but listen, you're going to do your after-hour show. I think it's going to be fantastic. I think it's a great concept. Please forgive me because I kind of put this together last minute. I didn't put a link to the description for your show, which is going to start at 9. Is that correct?
Yep. We will be starting at 9 o'clock.
So, guys, listen, please tune in to the Back Talk Brothers. They're going to have girls. It's an after-hour show. It's going to be great. I apologize for not promoting this more, not putting the link in the description. That's on me, Keith. I'm sorry about that. But here it is right here. Please, excuse me. Please check it out. Anything else you want to add, Keith? Final thoughts, questions, concerns?
Yeah, hey, be careful what you guys say because this will be Aaron's wife and my wife who are on here. We had a third lady that was going to join, but she got sick, so she had to back out today. But anyway, any given Sunday, it's not just a cliche. It's a cliche for a reason. So even when the teams look like they're down, even when the teams look like they shouldn't win, they might win. It is what it is. Even if you have a great team, you can still lose to a bad team. It is what it is. Of course, it doesn't really matter except for when we do these power rankings. We take that all into very weighty consideration. So,
all right. By the way, check out Keys put the link in the description. Check out his show tonight, but do be respectful. They are wife and Aaron's wife. And Keith's wife was nice enough to join my live stream yesterday. If you haven't had a chance yet, do check out in the description my picks video. It's a fantastic video. It's really good. I did a great job. And I will be back on Friday. So the way it works is that Dolphins Jets are going to play. It's going to be 2 p.m. Central. Where you're at one Pride, it's 3. Basically an hour after the game. It's going to be same time. I'm going to be same time Black Friday. I don't do shopping on Black Friday. I think those people are nuts.
Oh, I'm going to be busy on Friday. I'm going down to Detroit.
You're going down to Detroit. Are you doing? You're one of those Black Friday shoppers?
No, I'm going down to MSU versus Penn State.
Oh no shit. Do me a favor. Send me some pictures. Send me some pictures.
and the cheerleaders.
Oh,
maybe those two. But
yeah, just send me some pictures because that by the way, that's an underrated rivalry, Penn State and Michigan State.
I think they play for a trophy too. I could be wrong.
No, they do. It's I don't know what it is. It's kind of a new rivalry that the big 46 or whatever the fuck it is now put together, but yeah, they play for some sort of trophy. I forget what it's called.
Land grant.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Also, too. So, does Ohio? Who wins? Ohio State or Michigan?
Keys, you want to tackle this one?
Hey, I'm going to be rooting for whichever one will kill Iowa the least in the Big Ten championship tournament or in the Big Ten championship game because Iowa somehow snuck into that. So whichever team is going to beat them, who's not going to beat them as bad, is who I'm rooting for.
By the way, wouldn't that be great if Iowa won the Big 24 or whatever it is championship?
I would turn to the Big A Million.
It's going to keep expanding. I really do think it's going to hit like 24 or something sooner or later. It's going to be nuts.
If it is Michigan, at least we don't have any signs on offense worth stealing. So,
all right, I'm gonna I think Ohio State beats them this year.
I think Michigan wins. I really do. I think they rally behind the whole Harbaugh thing. I think I've watched Ohio State. I'm not that impressed. I haven't seen Michigan play yet, but I watched Ohio State.
Michigan almost lost to Maryland last week.
I really think that they're going to rally. I really do.
I disagree there. I'm not sure.
But
man.
What I really want is I want Michigan to win, and then I want Iowa to win. And what I'm really, really wanting is the best team I've watched so far this year, because I haven't seen Georgia play, is actually Alabama. So I want Alabama to beat Georgia in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alabama, and I want Alabama and Georgia to get into the national championship.
Yeah. So I don't even know who's going to be MSU's next head coach. To be honest, we're all over the place. I'm not sure. MSU has a direction right now.
By the way, Aaron, so Aaron, hey man, I'm letting Keys out early. He said he was going to end. We're kind of wrapping up here. So Aaron, man, I'm looking forward to seeing your show. That was kind of our final thoughts and questions. Michigan, Ohio State, as far as I'm concerned, is the best rivalry in college football. I will be working, but I'm going to DVR the game, and hopefully I will not accidentally get on my phone and look at social media. So the head coach for MU is probably going to be gone. That might be a consideration for Michigan State or Texas A&M. But without any further ado, I'm going to end the show. Make sure you check out Keys and the Back Talk Brothers. They're going to be on in about 20-25 minutes. It's going to be a great show. Guys, make sure you check out my picks video, and I'll be back on Friday.